Today on One Man Garage, we're, I guess, gonna do a Virago bobber build update. It's been 5 months with no part 2. We had part 1 and hadn't been back to it. Now it's fall, so I finally heading back to getting some progress. The original carburetors was kind of a pain in the butt to get off, and I finally jacked with it last week and got that assembly out for the carb build. But around that time I found out on the internet, because I didn't know that stuff existed, that there's this cool manifold conversion to a single carburetor in the KJS system with this single manifold and a 40 millimeter carburetor that hangs out on the side. It's like a big torque improvement, and I'm kind of thinking about maybe doing that instead of doing the jet kit and the rebuild kit on the stock stuff. So, and also today, last week I pulled the carbs and found out about that other system, and today I finally put the lowering shocks on that I bought a while back, pulled off those chrome ones, and used a 68 Catalina bumper jack to help lift the wheel up and down to help get the bolts in and out. That was probably the only easiest thing I'll get to do on this bike. Here's my Royal Crown Cola collection, not related to this, but stored right there for my convenience. Not sure what else we'll do on the bike today, but you know, there's going to be a lot of work to do just doing the headlight conversions and the little bobber seat and all that stuff I bought. Some of that stuff sitting over there, and probably going to work on the Starchief today. I wanted to hook up a mechanical oil pressure gauge. I already had a gauge trio under the dash, but I was only using the water temperature. But I want to go ahead and maybe hook up the mechanical oil pressure so we can monitor that. It's the original oil pump and original short block of the engine. I cleaned it, but it's not been apart. So this thing just had new cam and lifters and chain, and the oil pan cleaned out of sludge. But you know, with some later not smog, but low compression 71 400 2-barrel heads on it to run on regular gas. But so we're gonna do that for a little bit because the weather's not so bad. And if you heard any little weird noises in the background, that's the goats yelling at me because they had a little food, but I didn't give them the corn and sweet feed today, so they're yelling at me. So check in later. So the mechanical gauge, the lines may be kinked because it got tight trying to reach it from around the hole I had on the left across to the far right. But I don't like the way it's connected because it's I had a T in there for the dummy light to be hooked up, and it was facing putting this one towards the exhaust. And so this thing had started doing this. The oil light coming on at a low idle, but not above that, and it sounds good. It's never had a lifter tick. It's all good, but yet nothing on the gauge. So I kind of think in that filter elbow it might have the bypass might be stuck open in the filter bypass. So I'm gonna have to check into that deeper, and then maybe reroute the line and take the T out, I guess, and try it again. We'll see what happens. Well, that other end of this line was kinked really bad. When I pulled it off, I was going to reinstall it on the T. We'll take the T out and go without the dummy light, but it's screwed, so I'm going to have to get the line kit or whatever to replace the crappy nylon tubing line, and so I just took the whole T out and put the original sending unit straight on the elbow adapter like factory, and at least maybe we'll see if it still does that crap at idle. Apparently so. It's just flickering at the low speed. So I'd like to know what the actual pressure reading is. So I guess we'll figure it out later, but motor's good. Except for that light. That's why I wanted this. Second opinion, no opinions today. Adios. You know, we never cleaned the trunk out from all the weather strip and junk scraped out on the Chief. So with a trunk this big, I'll just use the shop broom, and we'll use this technique because of the capacity of this trunk. This trunk will take an entire full-size wood pallet, and you can put the pallet in and then put stuff on the pallet. So my broom skills aren't really the best, but I think this will facilitate getting this crap out of here. I need to get this fully cleaned because I'd like to. It's got very little rust holes at all, very little. I'd like to give it a good clean up and scrub with a wire wheel or something and get a nice coat of paint on it just to protect what's in here, because it is really solid. It's one of the best trunks you'll find in a 66, I think. But I sure hope we keep this car long term. This thing's really, once we get the AC charged or see if it'll work or whatever, this thing will be quite the road trip machine. So, as always, subscribe, like, comment, and to the guy that commented negatively on my first Virago bobber video, that was like 5 months ago, and it said part 1, and you were all butthurt because he wasted his few minutes because it wasn't finished at the end, and all it was an introduction of the project. Hence part 1 doesn't mean completed, but reading comprehension isn't what it used to be. So anyway, check in later. We are working on the bike. I'll post some pics of that intake system I'd like to buy. A little pricey, but kind of want to do it. Looking to do no baffles and straight pipes, the open K&N air cleaner, and we'll take it from there. Adios.